Hi, good evening, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us this evening. We have Wynne Stevens with us this evening. We have Erin Hudgins and Theresa McGhee, and they are going to be presenting tonight on Postsecondary Pathways. Theresa, did you want to start?
Oh, sure. My name is Theresa McGhee, and I am the Director of Employment and Counseling Services with ServiceSource. And so today I'll provide an overview of our opportunities that we have for our students who are considering work after high school and even while they're still in high school, and some of the employment services that we offer at ServiceSource outside of our employment opportunities. So the biggest one that I wanted to highlight today is our community employment program. So ServiceSource has business service contracts where we have contracts to provide a service either to the federal government or local government agencies or commercial contracts. And most of our business service contracts are actually with the federal government. So it is a part of the Ability One program. And if you're not familiar with the Ability One program, it is a commission of the federal government. It is the smallest commission of the federal government. And the whole purpose of this commission is to outsource employment opportunities to nonprofit agencies so that we can hire people with disabilities and increase employment opportunities for people with disabilities to work on federal government contracts. So as part of our program and as part of the services that our employees get when they are working on these contracts, we have vocational rehabilitation specialists that check in with our employees within the first couple of weeks to make sure things are going well. We work alongside our operations staff, the supervisors, our HR, human resources department, to make sure that employment is going well. We help brainstorm supports and accommodations that would ensure that employment is going well for this person. If something's not quite working one way, we're going to brainstorm a different way. And it is a total team approach in how we support our employees that work on these contracts. ServiceSource has a variety of different types of contracts that we have. More specifically in this area, as it pertains to the Stafford-Fredericksburg area, we have our contracts at Quantico and FBI Academy. So some of our opportunities that we have here are our food service worker positions at Quantico, so the mess halls where our Marines eat, food service worker positions at FBI Academy, a janitor position at FBI Academy, and we also just recently got a new contract at Dahlgren, which I know is a little bit further out, with janitors as well. All of our positions for the program are posted on our website. So at any time, if anybody wanted to look through the requirements of the job, was just interested in reading more about it, our positions are regularly updated and posted. So at any time, you can go to our careers page. I have our QR code here, but you can also go to servicesource.org to just check it out at any time. One of the biggest things that I like to highlight about our positions that is wonderful for our students who are getting ready to graduate from high school or maybe aren't really familiar with what they want to do. Career-wise, that's a huge ask for a lot of our folks. They just want to start earning some income. They just want to get their foot in the door. They just want to start building some job skills. And all of our positions here that we have in this area are entry-level positions. So for individuals who are just looking at, wanting to just start working, we pay competitive wages. I think right now for our janitor position, it's about $17 and some change an hour, plus health and welfare benefits. And it's a wonderful way to just get started. We obviously also promote career advancement and growth for our folks. So if this is what they truly just want to start off with, but they want to explore more, we highly encourage that. And we make sure that we are connecting them with external resources to continue that career exploration. And we also have internal resources as well that will help them continue to consider what their careers will look like in the future. A more intensive support that we provide here at ServiceSource for employees is our group supported employment program. Right now, we provide this service at FBI Academy in our custodial positions and food service worker. And these are for individuals who really would benefit from more consistent supervision throughout their shift at work. So in the community employment program, when people start working, they're going to need that training early on. But over time, once they start learning more of the job, learning more of the routines, those supports tend to back off. And they just need to kind of find their flow. For group supported employment, these are the people that would benefit. You know, they may have been working on the job for a year now, but maybe need more retraining on the tasks. Maybe they need more support to make sure that they're staying focused throughout the day. Maybe they need more consistent direction on what to do next. And so this one is a more intensive support that we provide. And the supervisor that is working with these groups is specifically designated to support the groups while they're working. So in our types of jobs, we have our role, we have our supervisor who trains us, but our supervisor also has their own roles and responsibilities that they have to do. And so with group supported employment, the supervisor that's with them at all times is specifically there to just support our group. So just making sure that everybody is consistently working, we're meeting our expectations at work, and we are providing accommodations throughout the day to make sure things are going well. So if an individual is scheduled from 10 to 2, our supervisor is there from 10 to 2 as well. This is a long-term service, and the group sizes are no more than 8 people in one group. I'd like to say that the average size of our groups tends to be about 5 people per one supervisor. And again, specifically, we provide this level of service only at FBI Academy in this area, either with custodial or food service. This is a referral-based program, group supported employment. So either DARS makes the referral or the case manager with the Community Services Board, because you do need third-party sponsorship in order to qualify for this service. So for individuals who would benefit from this level of service, they would have to complete a service application. And then we meet with the team and the individual just to make sure that that level of service is truly what the person needs. We don't want to implement a service where maybe the individual wouldn't benefit from. So we do like to have a careful conversation about what types of supports the person would need to maintain their job and what it looks like. A couple other programs that we have here in this area with Service Source is our RISE program. And this is an employment support program that serves parents who are unemployed and looking to return to the workforce. This is a referral-based program with our Department of Social Services, and there are income guidelines with this program, but another option for employment services as well. And then we have our supported employment program, which I'm sure Erin is going to cover in her presentation, but this is for individuals who are seeking supports with situational assessments. I don't really know what type of job I want to obtain. I want to try different types of jobs out. Or maybe I do know what type of job I want to go for, but I need help building my resume. I need help networking. We also provide job coaching supports and then long-term follow-along supports once somebody is in a job and is maintaining it. And we just do regular, consistent check-ins just to make sure things are going well and we can support people in getting jobs outside of Service Source. So that is Service Source in a nutshell. I kind of breezed through that. I have my contact information here, and then I'm also going to share a copy of this presentation with Mari so that she can send it out to everybody in attendance today. But yeah.
Theresa, I've got a question.
Yes.
The RISE program for parents. Now, do those individuals, do the parents have disabilities, or does it not matter? Same with the supported employment program under that. Does one have to have a disability to participate in those two programs?
In the RISE program, it is not based on disability eligibility, so it's just based on income requirements. Supported employment is based on DARS, so they would have to be eligible with services through DARS, so having a disability.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you should be able to see my slides now. They're not at the beginning, but they will be at the beginning here soon. So can everybody see my slides in front of them?
We can.
Yes.
Thank you, Win.
All right, so how much time do I have? So then I know how fast or how slow to go.
What about 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes?
Okay, that may be too much, but no, just joking. So I joke a lot, and so bear with me. So Germanna is the local community college, and here are some of our locations that we serve. And if you don't see your location up there, that's okay because we have online as well. So you actually don't have to come to class. You can just do your school online, which is really cool too as well. And we have 70 programs and certificates that students can take, and we have partnerships with almost all the schools in Virginia, meaning that if you wanted to go to UVA, right? If you wanted to go to Mason, or if you wanted to go to William and Mary, you can go to Germanna and still go to those schools after you complete your associate's degree at Germanna through our guaranteed admissions program, which is really cool. So like all your some of your classmates in high school like did all this mountains of work, which to get into UVA, and then you did too. But you came through Germanna, which is the same thing. At the end of the day, both of your degrees will say UVA. So you can start at the community college and save so much money. And we will accommodate you all the way through too as well. But you can start at the community college and save so much money because college is super duper expensive. And I say that because I have 3 kids going to college at the same time. I don't understand how that happened, but super duper expensive. We have over 12,000 students, 30% of them full time, and most of them are part time because we're right here in the community. So any of these individuals could be you. You could be in at 30%, or you could be in at 70%. And as I will keep saying, and we will support you the whole way through, as long as you are willing to do the work. So, and we'll get to that in a second. Now, we're here. That's that fast, just like I said. Office of Accessibility Resources provides services for students through their having a disability. So students who need, that have a documented disability or barriers to learning, 504 IEP, medical documentation, even ESL. ESL is not a student with a person with a disability, but right now they're in our office. So that's why they're on here. And we support them with accommodations as well. And then what are accommodations? Here is a list of accommodations. Now, this list is not exhaustive. I mean, this is just the tip of the iceberg because accommodations are really, really based on you. Okay, and I say that like that because it's what you need to be successful. And college is hard. It's not an easy place. And I tell you that because people think I can just go to high school and then go to college and it will be the same. It is a totally different environment with a lot of unwritten rules and weird language that instructors use that you have to get used to in order to be successful. And they depend on the student to do all of this. And so sometimes you may say, I have had people do this kind of communicating and talking for me. We want you to do that for yourself because this is a place where you can learn. So Service Source just spoke about working. When you're at work, your guardian, your parent, they're not with you. You may have a support staff with you, but it's still up to you to do the work. And then that's why college is important because we can teach you those skills to be successful at your job. And sometimes you learn those skills outside the classroom and inside the classroom. But those skills are learned by you so that when you go to your job, you can be successful, meaning communicating, talking, and nobody is good at it the first 100 times. All of us can give you horror stories about something we did wrong. Well, I can give you horror stories about things I did wrong going to my first job, second job, third job, I can give you stories about where I made mistakes, and I learned from those mistakes to get better every time. So don't be afraid of making the mistake. Don't be afraid of saying the wrong thing, and that's what accommodations are for, to help you do that. Um, and we have this program that we start with. It's called the Accommodation Workshop. The Accommodation Workshop is really helpful because it shows you how to be a student at Germanna um, using accommodations. So it's really vital that you go to attend if you come to Germanna, and I hope all of you do, or go somewhere. That's the most important thing. To be a student on campus using services, because we treat you like an adult when you're here, and it's a shocker for some people because their parent will call or their parent want to have a conversation with us, and not with our office. We kind of talk to everybody, but they may want to have a conversation with an instructor. An instructor say, "I can't talk to you as a parent," and that's a huge shocker for parents to hear that the instructor said they won't talk to me. Yes, they won't. Some of them will, but most of them will say, I need to talk to the student because that's the person that's going to be in my classroom, or that's the person that's learning. And all those conversations that you have are learning conversations. It gives you opportunity to learn and grow. And so, as I said, it's a good place to make mistakes, because then we can correct mistakes, and then you graduate, and then you make more mistakes, but then you understand how to fix them and move on from them. So that's what our office does. We provide those type of services to students. And the great thing is we start in the summertime. Okay, we have a summer program that launches in March. The sign up is in March, and then the program starts in June. It's 10 weeks long. Sorry, it's 8 weeks long, and it's scholarship based. So you just pay for one student development class, and then we give you 6 credits for free with a whole bunch of other things, trips and leadership opportunities. And this year will be the first year that we have it for our crafts, our core craft skills. So say you wanted to be a welder, or say you wanted to be a heavy machine operator, or work in HVAC, so cooling, heating, and air. We will have a summer program for you to have the exact same, well, a different experience, but a fun experience, just like students taking the credit classes. And your program also starts on June 10th, and it goes 7 weeks. And you still go on wonderful trips that we go on, Kings Dominion, zip lining, all those still wonderful things. But you're learning the core craft skills to go into, as I say, welding, electrician, heating and air, heavy machine operator, all those wonderful jobs that we all use every day, and sometimes don't understand the level of need in these areas. Because if your refrigerator breaks or your washing machine doesn't work, your parents are not the happiest. Let me tell you, they need to call somebody and fix it. And these are the people that they call. And we all live in a house, right? Well, most of us live in a house. Some of us may live in an apartment or something of that nature, but they all have refrigerators and stoves and wonderful things of that nature that somebody needs to come and fix if it breaks. And so these are the people who do that, and they make really good livings, and it's not heavily history, math, science. You don't have to take any of those classes. You focus on the craft that you want to complete. Now, Germanna has a wonderful locations, and I'll stop at that point because then I think I'm at 15 minutes. Germanna has tons of wonderful locations, as I showed you earlier, and here are what they look like. And we have a new location in Stafford opening in the fall, October in the fall. So it's like 3 times the size of this one is in front of you. So if you're in Stafford, and that's our Fredericksburg location if you're down in Fredericksburg. And then we have online, as I said. And so that kind of leaves me at time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Stevens. We really appreciate that.
My name is Erin Hudgins. I am a vocational counselor with the Department for Aging and Rehab Services. I'm one of the agencies that you heard from a little bit earlier from Theresa. And my job is to help individuals with disabilities either find or maintain employment. and that looks very different to every client that we work with. We are an eligibility program, so all of our clients have to have a documented disability and live, work, or go to school in the state of Virginia in order to receive our services. Some of the services that we do provide, our big one is career counseling and guidance, helping students and adults figure out what that next step is in their life. Job coaching is another big one. Supported employment services we do provide to a lot of our clients, where they will have a job coach support them during interviews, resumes, and then on the job as well, and then slowly fade out. We can also look at doing situational assessments where the client is trying out different jobs before actually applying for those jobs so that they get an idea of what they're going to be doing. And the other big one that we provide pretty frequently is additional training. So if you want to be a welder or an HVAC technician, that requires training and certification, and that is a service that our agency would be able to provide. The other big part of our agency, which some of you may be familiar with, is the Wilson Workforce and Rehabilitation Center. This is a DARS-sponsored training center that provides vocational training for up to 27 different programs, from cosmetology to HVAC, electrical, plumbing, childcare. They also have a very popular driving program where students will drive and get their license through training with a certified occupational therapist one-on-one, as well as they have a 6-week learner's permit program where students learn the DMV manual and prep for that permit test prior to taking it. This is my contact, or my agency's contact information for our office located here in Fredericksburg. That is our main number that is listed there on the screen. And we currently serve the Fredericksburg area as well as surrounding counties such as Stafford, King George, Caroline. So if you're interested in applying for services or have additional questions, that number will get you in contact with someone. We are offering walk-in intake appointments on the 2nd and 4th Thursday of every month, between 9 and 11:30 in the morning. So if you come in, you would be able to meet with a counselor and get your case opened that same day without having to wait for a scheduled appointment.
Thank you so much, Erin. Theresa and Wynne as well. We really appreciate all the information that you shared with us all this evening.
How soon do you invite DARS to your transition meetings? And are representative of DARS able to attend those meetings?
We are able to attend those meetings with notice. There are times where I get an invitation to an IEP meeting with a couple of days notice, and it's just not enough to be able to move my schedule around to be able to attend. But I'm always happy to attend IEP meetings. I typically suggest starting that maybe the end of their sophomore, beginning of their junior year, so that we're able to discuss what transitional services DARS would be able to provide to the student in partnership and collaboration with what the school is already doing.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any other questions?
I do have a question for Theresa. With Service Source, individuals that have the Medicaid waivers under the employment part of the waiver, do you accept that as payment for services?
Yes, so
Okay.
through the supported employment, like individual supported employment,
Mhm.
those are the services that Erin had described in her presentation, whether it's job development, job coaching, a follow along. It can be provided through the waiver and group supported employment. The only
Okay.
caveat to that is that we have to have proof that the individual is not eligible for DARS funding or service. So in terms of employment services, DARS, Medicaid waiver is the funder of last resort when it comes to employment services. Medicaid waiver, when we think about it, generally speaking, we think about like doctors and medical things and things like that. And we are fortunate here in Virginia where they do provide funding for employment, but they want us to have our starting point be with state vocational rehab, our DARS offices, to rule out whether they are able to fund the service or provide it. And if for some reason the person is not eligible for DARS funding or DARS cannot fund, then Medicaid waiver will approve it.
Okay, that's perfect clarification. Thank you.
Yep.
We do have another question in the chat. Is the summer program with Germanna, so this is for you, Win, for all ages/grade levels?
So the WCEP, the Workforce Summer Program, is for juniors and above, and the CCEP, the credit side program, is for seniors and above. So as long as you have graduated for the CCEP, and if you are a junior going into your senior year, you can do the workforce one. And so if you are in school and you're looking to do a summer program, we do have other summer programs that are not connected with our office that students can do. That's independent dual enrollment and dual enrollment summer program too as well.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Win. Any more questions from anybody? Now would be the time to unmute yourself and ask away.
So I'm just wondering, and I think this probably goes to Erin, is there a way for homeschool parents to get some kind of transition service, guidance, without having to go through the full IEP and eligibility process? Because that's kind of, it's rough on the kids to have to go through all these tests and stuff.
When we look at eligibility determination, we are able to use an IEP or 504, whatever documentation the school has. For those individuals who are homeschooled, which we are getting more and more clients who are homeschooled, medical documentation from their primary care physician would work really well. If we're not able to get that sort of documentation where a medical provider or professional has said, your student is diagnosed with XYZ, then we are able to do our own evaluations and testings to get that documentation. If our transitional services are something that is interested to you, start looking into that closer to his 15th birthday. And that's just because providing those individual services to him, he's going to need to be able to work at some point. So that would be my suggestion and recommendation.
Thank you. And like, what would his 15th birthday actually is about a month away. So, what would be the first step? Do I just reach out to DARS directly?
Yeah, that phone number that I had listed in the PowerPoint, that goes directly to our receptionist. That's our main phone number. And you, like I said, you can either get an appointment individualized, which, is scheduled with a one-on-one counselor that works for your schedule and his schedule, or attend one of those walk-in days that I mentioned as well. Just be prepared to wait. Sometimes we can serve up to 20 individuals in that 2.5 hour time span. So it could be a rather lengthy wait.
I have a question for Erin. I was told, as far as like with the homeschooling, crossed this bridge a little bit before, that the child had to be associated with the school system, or then the family would get charged separately for the services of DARS.
That is not an entirely accurate statement. When we look at cost-based services with our agency, that is based off of a completely different set of criteria. There are numerous services that are free of charge to our clients and do not require our students to be associated with one of the area school systems here.
Thank you again so much for joining us this evening. And thank you so much to Mr. Stevens and Erin Hudgins, as well as Theresa McGhee, for sharing invaluable information with us this evening. We really appreciate it.